Few cards just fell out. Mm. Got Four of Swords, Knight of Cups, and then Five of Swords. Yeah, and this feels like it tells like a chronological story, honestly. Uh, yeah, I'm getting past, present, future vibes, so I'm gonna read it that way. With Four of Swords being the past, it feels like, yeah, we've been in a point of resting, and oh, thank you for the follow. Um, yeah, we're at a point of resting. We were at a point of resting, and really becoming clear on who we are and where we're going. And right now, I'm being called to the different colors on the swords. Like you notice, like they kind of align to elements. Two things. They align to elements, just like we got the fire, like red right here. And then we got, yeah, then we got the green over here, which feels like earth. And then we got the one in the middle feels like air, and the one on the end feels like water. And that feels significant because it's like, um, yeah, it feels like different stages. The last one being fire is which feels like it's time to. It feels like it's time to when he gets up, it's time to blaze forward. Like air feels like he thought about it. Earth feels like he kind of just navigated it. Like he kind of just navigated his experience and just the physical as it comes. You know, he did what he was supposed to do. He listened to things. Um, he did the work. He showed up how he was supposed to show up. You know, and that feels like in society. You know, you're doing all the things you follow the status quo. That's what it feels like that. And then the air feels like he thought about it. Did I race to do air? But yeah, he thought about it. He got clear. He thought about what he was doing. He's like, like, is this the right thing to do, or what do I want to do, and things like that. And then the water feels like he spent time feeling it, feeling his way through things, like exploring different emotions, like following. Okay, this is happy. Okay, this makes me feel sad, and navigating that and understanding. Okay, like what he needs and wants to experience. And then now the last one feels like the fire. It's like, all right, now it's time to act. It's time to move. And like now it's like, all right, I've experienced this world as is. I've experienced it the way they said to experience it. I've kind of worked through it and I thought about like, okay, how I feel about that. I've experienced the emotions of like, okay, when I do this thing or showing up this way and feeling what that feels like. And now it's like, okay, now I combine all that and now it's time to blaze forward and create my life the way I want with all this knowledge. Like I understand what works for me, what doesn't work for me. I understand what I think about this and that. I have my boundaries, what's important to me, what's not important to me, how I like to feel, how I don't like to feel, how I will never feel again if I have a choice, like all that. And now it's like blazing forward, like, just cutting away what doesn't match that, going in the direction that feels right, and really actualizing everything. And that's what feels like is next. And remember, this is the past energy, so it feels like that's where we're coming out of, as far as just that resting right now until it's time to get up and blaze forward in that way. And then the present energy of the cards feel, which is the Knight of Cups, feels like we got up and we started to move forward. And yeah, moving forward with confidence, moving forward with a full cup, moving forward with faith and the experiences that we've had up to this point, and understanding that they all molded us into the exact person we need to be for this mission, to actualize everything we see for ourselves and to create our lives the way we want to, and to allow ourselves to blaze forward. And yeah, this feels like it's been a calm journey. It feels like it's been maybe not super action packed as like maybe the past was, before you got more intentional and clear, and when it used to feel like things were just happening to you, or you were at the mercy of circumstance and just hoping for the best. But now it's kind of like you understand your role in everything, and things may still have happened. You may still have been experiencing chaos or even some traumatic things, but it's been from like a perspective understanding that understanding your power in all of it, understanding how your perspectives and your choices are your powers in creating your life the way you want to, and how your perspective colors the things you experience, um, and how a lot of your experience is projected from the inside out, and that things are as bad for the most part as you allow them to be or how you view them to be, because those same things to somebody else might not be bad at all. It might be perfect, the perfect situation. So this feels like what this has been as far as just the present. It's like, okay, now you're re-experiencing the world from a more whole perspective, a more true and honest perspective as far as just the role you play in everything, and understand that you do play a role in all of your experiences. And yeah, the future energy between the cards, which is the Five of Swords, feels like just conquering, success, the the journey in which you started, which remember we were resting at first before it was time to blaze forward. This feels like after you blaze forward, and this just feels like that moment when you realize you make it over the hill and you realize like that was the last boss, 40-40, as I said that, and you realize like, oh, there's not another big monster dragon that waiting that's bigger than the last one, but it's like that was it, you did it. And it's like he's looking back, he's like, wow, like I probably could have kept going, I could have slayed some more dragons, I could have fought some more beasts, I could have um overcame some more obstacles, and it's like before you reach this point, it may feel like you're close to your wits end, or you might not have too much more to give, or oh wow, that's interesting because the sword he's holding, I just noticed it has a little red handle. I'm telling you. So yeah, this feels like this is the other side. You made it through, and it's just like it feels like just a reminder to remember to zoom out sometimes and understand that your success is written and it's guaranteed, and it's not at the mercy of this decision or that decision. Understand that, yeah, the call is just to understand that once you move with intention, you have a clear vision of where you're going, that all roads lead you there as long as you keep that clear vision. And it's like that doesn't mean everything's going to fast track you there, it's going to be direct, but that decision versus this decision, that decision versus this decision might lead to a lesson that allows you the next thing you do to lead you right there. And it's like understanding that, yeah, not to get lost in the mind trying to choose the right thing all the time, or try to manipulate your way to a future that's guaranteed, to success that's already written, but understanding that all you need to do is experience the unfoldment of it. You just need to choose what feels right, and understand that that leads you to exactly where you're going, because you're already clear on where you're going. And that was the point of you getting clear on where you're going, so you didn't have to spend time on the journey there overthinking it, or trying to figure out like, oh, like how should I get there, but understanding that you know where you're going, things are going to present themselves to get you there. The hardest thing you have to do is show up a lot of the time, and really just continue to answer the call and to go in the directions that match what you're creating for yourself, what you've been calling in for yourself, the things that feel like you, and understand that that will lead you exactly where you need to go. um, and having faith in that, and not waiting until you get there to realize that that's all you had to do, because that's the difference between enjoying the journey and just making it through the journey and eventually getting there and be like, ooh, finally, because like, yes, the journey is going to be very intentional, maybe challenging, all that, but it doesn't have to be filled with suffering. It can be just as fulfilling as it is challenging. It can be like a fun challenge. It's a chosen discomfort, because you're actualizing something you see for yourself. You're not doing it because you have to. You're doing it because that's what's best for you, and that's the pathway that feels the most authentic to you. So that alone should be something that's a worthwhile experience, because you're choosing it and you know where it leads. So understand that, yeah, it can be that way if you allow it to be. And I'm also being reminded, or I'm being called to remind you, that uncertainty doesn't have to be paired with fear automatically. Um, just because you don't know what's next, just because you don't know how things are unfolding, doesn't mean you have to be afraid. And clarity doesn't have to be the only thing that you feel comfortable in. And the quicker you can get comfortable in not knowing, comfortable in the uncertainty, the better. Because in uncertainty is where there's the most options, there's the most possibilities. Because when you know what's coming next, there's not too much room for possibilities. You know, the possibilities are kind of structured, they're kind of in place already, and you know they can be like different variations of certain things. But it's when things are uncertain, you have no idea what's next, where everything is possible. Like literally nothing's off the table. If you can think it, you can make it happen. So it's like that's when you're at your most powerful. That's when you really get to see what you're made of as an alchemist, as a magician. um so yeah, lean into those moments. The more uncertainty and the more space you have, the more question marks, the better, because it's like, wow, there's so many places I can fill in with magic. There's so much room for miracles to just surface, things I've never even thought about, things I never even anticipated for myself. There's just so much room for that stuff. So it's like, yeah, fear should be the opposite. Fear is the last thing you should feel in those places. And I know it's easier said than done, you know, like uncertainty and those shadows. Naturally, it's like, oh man, what's over there, you know, or what's waiting. So I get that for sure. But the more you can choose and the more you can inject, like, I don't know what's coming next, but I know it's going to be perfect. The more you can inject that energy into the uncertainty, the better. Because, yeah, that's when you really unlock the real magic. And, yeah, in that darkness, in those shadows, is where life is created, is where the light comes from. So the more acclimated you can get with it and the more you can embrace it, yeah, the better. And on the bottom, we got Knight of Swords. And that's exactly what that feels like. It's like, yo, inject play. Allow this to be an adventure. Allow this to be something that's unfolding to you at every step of the way. And understand that, yeah, it doesn't have to be so serious and scary. Like, yeah, it matters, and it's only scary because you really, really care, and that it's important to you. But don't allow that to be the source of your suffering. You caring, you know, or you really giving a f, you know, like, because they say ignorance is bliss, and that's very true. Like when you don't know no better, like knowledge, when you don't know no better, things have the ability to flow freely, you know, because you're just showing up, you're just following your heart, you're just doing what feels right. And knowledge can be very, very restricting and can become a prison, you know, if you don't treat it in a way that continues to serve you. Knowing too much can definitely block you and can definitely keep you stuck in situations, because now, you know, you might not be willing to go try this thing because you know how it ends, you know where it goes. Like, oh, last time you did that, it went this way, so now you know too much, so now you're not even willing to try it. But it's like, this time is completely different. You're not even the same person that you were last time you tried. And it is that deep, you know? And that day you might not have been resonant to be successful at this thing, but you've been doing the work, and it's like, today you might be, you know, your vibration's different, things are different. But it's like, if you know too much or you lean too much to your own understanding, you'll block yourself. And it's like, it's not even a real block or a block that's imposed on you. It's just you and your own mind, and yeah, just human nature. So yeah, just allow things to flow, allow more play to come into your experience, and hey, be a little ignorant sometimes, you know. Allow things to be different, you know. Just because you know something about something, don't act like you don't. Act like you never tried that before, and be like, let's see how it goes this time, and understand that you haven't tried it before, because you're not the same person. That's the biggest thing. Like, it doesn't matter if it's been 20 seconds since the last time you tried. You're not that same person, because you're the person with that one more rep of experience, that one more try that you didn't have before when you tried the last time. So it's like, it really is that deep. And it's like, if you allow yourself to be new at everything, which you are, because you're not the same person from moment to moment, from day to day, that you'll see that things can there's unlimited possibilities, honestly. No matter how many times you've experienced something, no matter how much you feel like you know, I feel like the biggest thing you learn in this process of learning more and knowing more is that you don't know anything, honestly, and that the truth is always unfolding and the truth is always changing, and that we just get to experience it. And the moment you go to try to explain it or capture it or hold it, it's gone. It's not even truth anymore. It's diluted, because the truth itself is to be experienced. The truth itself is the energy. It's what you understand, and then you go and try to express it, you know. But it's like, the truth of it is back here. It's the thing that makes you even want to go express it. So yeah, just keep experiencing and keep understanding that the experience is the experience, the energy is the energy, and that's the ultimate truth. And whether you can explain it to somebody else or you can understand it from somebody else, it's to be experienced. And make sure you're leaning into those experiences, and that you're not trying to make everything make sense in the mind, or you're not trying to create all of your experiences in the mind, because yeah, that's just not where you do it. You do it in your heart, you do it in your soul, you do it just through your actions, honestly. So that's all. And yeah, I'm not ignoring you. I definitely need to get all that out, because I will definitely lose a train of thought.